Morning.
Kind of the same questions that asked Brooks. What responsibility do the players feel or have for what happened last week?
Yeah, a tremendous amount of responsibility. In this business side of things, right? When you talk about being in things together, you talk about starting the year, and obviously the last couple of years, it takes everyone, and we're all in it together. The unfortunate side of it is the business side of it, and these things are part of the professional game, and so we obviously take a tremendous amount of that responsibility. We're the ones on the field. We're the ones that have to perform, and we've not been doing that, and so it's certainly something you think about as a player and you reflect on, and you never like to see something like that happen.
Can you put your finger on why it just wasn't working under Pineda?
No, I don't think it was one thing specifically. Ultimately, it's about results. We're in a results-driven business, and we weren't getting results. Simple as that.
You've done this with Rob before as an interim manager. What do you expect from him based upon that experience that maybe can help y'all get it going again?
Yeah, I think when you look at Rob where he is today compared to the last time, he was in this situation. I think he certainly has gained much more experience. I think he will look back and reflect on the last time he was in this situation and how he can better himself, but ultimately better the group. Rob's the type of guy that I think you guys all know this, and certainly everyone on the other side of the building, we all know it is. He has the respect and the trust of everyone in terms of his relationships with individuals, and so we've got to look forward. We can't look back. We've got to look forward, and we've got to try and correct this.
What does Rob do to build those relationships?
Just his ability to communicate with guys, whether it's Americans, the foreign guys, different languages. He puts himself out there in terms of making it a point to connect with guys on a deeper level than just football, just soccer. And so I think by doing that, he not automatically, but he takes some massive strides forward with individuals. And like I said, we've got to look forward as a group, and it's all eyes on Saturday.
In your role, you have a little bit different relationship with managers, and with Rob, what have you done since everything has kind of happened to help him in his role?
Yeah, listen, on Monday when obviously we found out, I spoke to him rather quickly in terms of just having a conversation. Like I said, it's never nice when a manager loses their job, and he's when you build these relationships, and when someone loses their job, you think about their family, you think about them as an individual, you don't think about them as a coach, you think about them as a human, and that's not nice. It's not a nice feeling for us, not a nice feeling for them, and so we understand that we all had relationships, and we have those relationships with Gonzalo, Eugenio, and Diego. But like I said, at the same time, we need to look forward, and so that conversation with Rob was about just that. How do we move forward? How do we look forward? And we can't look back. We've got to put one foot in front of the other and continue moving forward. Whether it be small steps, big steps, we've got to get this thing going again.
How different do you think Rob is now versus 2021?
Yeah, I think when you look at him as a coach, when you look at him, as an interim manager, you look at somebody that I think has gained more experience, more confidence probably in himself. I think being able to utilize that experience under different managers that we've had, being able to kind of mold his coaching philosophy and his style is certainly going to benefit him in working with us going forward.
We've talked about simplifying things, and that's been a word that's thrown around for the last month. But today, just watching the session, looked like a lot of getting back to building blocks, a lot of 1v1s, a lot of 2v1s. Has that been the focus going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. I think, I mentioned earlier, right? It's a results-driven business, and so both sides of the ball, attacking-wise, we need to get back to clicking and scoring, and I think I'd heard someone tell me that we're quite high in the league when it comes to chances created and all these numbers and whatnot. We need to find a way to put the ball in the back of the net. We need to score, and I think if we're able to do that, that starts to breed a little bit more confidence within the group. Obviously, more of a feel-good factor within the group, and ultimately, you want that to bleed into the atmosphere, into the stadium, especially at MBS, where we want to get back to making that place a difficult place for teams to come. We know it's not going to be easy, but when you break it down, it is about simplifying. It is about giving the group that confidence, and you do that by hopefully giving these guys an opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net.
How difficult is that going to be, though, with your leading goal scorer maybe sold, your second leading scorer has gone to the Euros, your third leading scorer maybe gone to the Olympics, to get this chemistry and this cohesion together?
It's going to be hard, for sure. But listen, it's what we signed up for. It's part of it. There's no time for excuses. There's no time for finding a way out. It's the only way is forward, and we've got to do that with the guys that are here, that are on the field, and we believe in each other. We believe in each other as a group, and so the players you mentioned. Obviously, it's a busy summer in terms of international football for different competitions, different reasons, and the guys that are here, we're gonna give everything.
How did Josh starting that last game, did that motivate you more, affect you in any way at all?
No, my motivation is internal. It's certainly not external, and so that doesn't light a bigger fire within me. That doesn't play a role with how I go about my daily business.
Brad, ultimately it comes down to the results, and like you said, putting the ball in the net. Is there a attitude change, feeling change, something you want to see, whether it's in the dressing room, on the field, that you want to see out of your teammates?
No, I mean, listen, the attitude needs to be a professional one. The attitude needs to be a commitment, a desire to go and compete for 90-plus minutes, and that, whether we make mistakes or not, it's how do we react from those mistakes? How do we bounce back? How do we support each other? How do we make teams feel the aura, right, around our team? How do we do that? And so you do that with your reactions, your desire, your commitment to the group. And so that part, we need to be able to bring that for 90-plus minutes every single game.
And that's what Garth said several times in his Zoom with us last week, was responding to adversity, reactions, like you said. Is that something that's been lacking, and how do you fix that? Is it a new voice, a spark? Like, how do you fix it?
Yeah, I mean, if it was as easy as saying, one thing or doing one thing, I think we would have probably addressed that a few weeks ago, a few months ago. But it takes everybody. It takes everybody. It's not down to one voice. It's not down to one person. Guys, from top to bottom, we need to have a real look in the mirror, and it starts with ourselves individually and then collectively, and in terms of how we train, in terms of how we compete on a match day. Those are all areas where we need to improve.
Last thing for me, I know you don't want to look back. One quick one. You've seen every coach here. How tough is it to build and to maintain the level that you guys want to be when there have been, the amount of coaching changes there have been?
I mean, I think when you took, to address the question, right? You say maintain the level. We need to raise the level. We need to raise the level. The level's not been good enough, and so we need to raise the level. I hear people on the outside talk about, oh, Atlanta United's so good, and individuals. Well, it's not showing, and so we need to find a way to show it. And oh, they have too much talent or this or that. Well, that means nothing if we're not going to work hard and we're not going to go out there and compete. And so, we need to raise that level. Good.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.